drank pots and pots and pots and pots of strong black coffee, trying to keep my sleepy soul awake. But the sleepiness still comes along, and when it does, it's fast and strong. I end up with a bad case of the shakes, and my baby tells me...
We are in downtown Redlands here at Augies Coffee House, and I'm here with Rob. Rob, tell us about Augies.
So we roast all our own beans here. We brew all our coffee in very small batches. We French press our main drip coffee. We also offer pour overs. We have exceptionally trained baristas. We have a very small staff, all of them being knowledgeable and well prepared to make you the best latte or cappuccino you've ever had. We try to specialize in local products, local bakery, local orange juice. The fact that we roast our own beans makes us a local roastery. Second upon that, we have like an eye on quality and making everything we can. So we make our own chocolate sauce, we make our own vanilla. Anything that we can make, we do make. And I think all those things end up in your cup, and you can taste the difference.
When we talk about roasting coffee, what makes it so different from a place, you're roasting to a place that's not necessarily roasting coffee?
I mean, the biggest thing is that we can decide what flavor profiles we want to highlight. So we as a staff like complexity, acidity, sweetness, not that burnt taste, more of a natural organic flavor in the coffee. A lot of these coffees were literally growing on a tree 3 months ago. And places that don't roast their own beans, their coffee might have been roasted 3 months ago. So the freshness factor, if you're roasting your own beans, is just right through the roof. It also, it gives us a lot of flexibility as far as buying power and how many coffees we can offer. We can offer an abundance of coffees rather than just a handful. At any one time, we might have 13, 14 different types of beans in the coffee house that are being used in one way or another.
Now, does that change the consistency from month to month?
Yeah, the whole idea here is freshness. So we only serve coffee that's, in season. So this was recently picked. So coffee being a fruit, it's not seasonally always going to be available. Even though you may love Brazils, Brazils only have a pocket of time that they're available to be purchased, picked, bought at their maximum freshness. Now, a lot of places will have a standard Brazil, and what they've done was, a year ago, they bought 15 bags of it, 150-pound bags, and they've sat on it for a whole year. And that's why they can offer it all year round, but that's kind of contrary to what we're trying to do here. So the coffee comes to us in these burlap bags from all over the world, and they come in and they're literally green beans. We call them green beans because
the fruit is green, huh?
They're green beans. So this is the seed that's running around inside the coffee cherry.
When it's roasting, is it just heating it up?
It's heating it up. Basically, chemically what's happening is the intrinsic chemicals, the properties that are in the bean, the heat's forcing that to the outside. The sugars are caramelizing. There's a lot of chemistry going on inside the bean. But basically what you're doing is as you're roasting the beans is you're bringing out flavors, you're highlighting things, you're maximizing its flavor potential. This is a product that you could drink, but it would be very harsh. And
I was going to say, and it doesn't have the same smell? Or...
No, and exactly. This is basically like raw meat here, and you cook a piece of meat and it highlights those flavors. You bring things together. It's seasoning, it's doing many things.
Okay. So after it's roasted, how long do you have a max time before you actually serve it?
A max time. There's nothing in the shop right now older than 10 days. Not a thing. And that's a product of control. Basically, we're roasting just enough for a week. We're keeping track of our numbers, how much we're using, how much we're going through. Basically, every morning when our roaster rolls in here to roast the coffee, we're out of coffee. Ideally, we've sold it all, it's gone. We have just enough to get through that day. And then we like to give our coffees a 12 to 24 hour window to degas after roasting. So, but if you come in on Monday afternoon, your coffee was roasted at 6 a.m. that day.
Wow. It smells so good.
It does really smell good. People always say that. We'll come back here and I'll be getting beans for up front and I'll pop the lid and the whole room will go. That just fills the room, yeah.
That's crazy. All right, so let's make our way up front here, Rob. All right, so you were telling me that this process right here is something you just don't find anywhere else,
Not
right?
everywhere. I mean, there's a lot of really like niche coffee, specialty coffee shops that are doing this, and the big movement is trying to get people to do this kind of coffee at home for themselves because it's really easy. You don't need much to do it, and the results are like extraordinary. So it's basically coffee by the cup. It's a pour over. This particular object is called a Hario V60, and it is the Cadillac of pour over equipment. Basically, it's the one you want to get your hands on. The design of it is simply superior to others. So
Can you show it?
Yeah,
I've
of
never seen this actually.
so I'm gonna come back here. I'm gonna set this on my scale.
Okay.
Right now I'm just pre-wetting everything. I'm purging my filter of any type of like factory flavor or dust or anything that was on the paper filter. The other part about the hot water was everything's getting warmed up, getting prepared to brew. That way I'm not putting hot water and hot coffee through a cold device and it's cooling off right away. That way the end product's hot too. So I'm gonna grind these on drip, which is just basically a medium grind. If someplace between as coarse as possible and as fine as possible.
Okay.
But your grinder at home may say drip, or the one in the grocery store, wherever you're at, definitely says drip on it.
Yeah, my grinder works just that fast.
Yeah.
Not.
It's a bigger grinder.
Yeah.
So at which point I'm just dropping the grounds in here, and I'm gonna get them nice and level, a nice level bed to brew off of.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, freshly ground, you see everything that we do here, we grind on the spot. Coffee oxidizes as quickly as banana, so I've been told. So if you can imagine, you cut a banana, how quickly it browns, the same thing is happening to your coffee. So grind right before you brew. Number one step, most important step to the actual brewing method, is I'm gonna pour in about 3 to 4 ounces of water and let it bloom. So basically, I've saturated all the grounds once, and what's happening is they're expanding and the surface area of it is opening up, so it's preparing itself to brew thoroughly. So I'm gonna let this sit for just about 30 seconds, and I'm gonna pour very, very slowly as humanly possible.
This is just like a human drip, basically.
It really is, and like I said, between me and gravity, we're controlling how quickly or slowly it's being extracted.
How much different is this from an espresso?
From espresso, the whole idea is it is basically the essence of coffee. It's a more potent flavor to cut through the milk. So that's why espresso exists, really, is to play really well with milk. So the idea here is, hopefully, this isn't for milk, this is for brewed coffee. The second big difference between brewed coffee this way and espresso is actually more caffeine here. Not even just by volume, but by the nature of the beast. Caffeine extraction is 100% dedicated to time. It's only 25 seconds on the espresso that the coffee grounds are exposed to water, and we just exposed it to water for almost 3 minutes. So it's extracted more caffeine.
Wow. I didn't realize that. Okay. Well, Rob, I appreciate your time. I appreciate the cup of coffee here at Augies in downtown Redlands. Again, as you can see, another unique spot here in the Inland Empire.